How far would you go to save your mom's life? My dad went so far that he lost his own. I was 12 when my mom got sick. Not a cold or flu. Sick in the kind of way that makes doctors exchange glances when you ask if she'll be okay. We lived in a small town in the Philippines where hospitals were overcrowded and medicine was expensive. My dad worked as a mechanic. We didn't have much, but we had enough until mom's diagnosis came. Stage 4. At first, dad tried everything he could. Sold our car. Sold his tools. Sold our house. We moved into a cramped single-room apartment above a hardware shop. Every day, he'd walk for hours under the burning sun to save on bus fare, just so mom could get her next round of treatment. When I'd wake up at night, I'd sometimes hear him crying. Not loud, just quiet, hopeless sobs behind the bathroom door. I'd never seen him like that before. He used to be the strongest person I knew. Then one night, he came home late with his clothes covered in oil and dust. His eyes were bloodshot. I thought something terrible had happened. He sat me down and said, "Your mom's going to get better." I didn't understand how. We didn't even have enough money for food, but he told me he found a way. He said a wealthy businessman he'd once repaired a car for was willing to help if dad worked for him full-time under special conditions. He didn't say what kind of work it was, just that it was dangerous. Mom's treatments started again. New medicine, better doctors. She got stronger, smiled again, cooked breakfast. For a while, it felt like things might actually be okay, but dad started coming home later and later. Sometimes he'd have bruises or cuts on his arms. Sometimes he wouldn't come home at all. When I asked where he'd been, he'd just say, "Working." Then one day he didn't come home at all. Mom called the hospital, his friends, everyone. No one knew anything. 3 days later, the police came to our door. They said my dad had been found in an abandoned warehouse outside the city. They told us he'd been caught in an accident while working security for that same businessman. But even as a kid, I could tell they weren't telling us everything. Mom broke down. She couldn't even afford to bury him properly. But the day after his funeral, she got a letter. No return address, just her name. Inside was a small envelope filled with cash and a note in dad's handwriting. It said, "If you're reading this, it means I couldn't make it home. But now you can live. Promise me you will." That money paid for her final treatments. She lived another 8 years. Every single day of it was because of him. People always talk about how far love can go. My dad didn't talk. He showed it. He gave up his life so we could keep ours.